Hey everyone, and welcome. Have you ever really thought about how we talk about the future? I mean, not just the sci-fi ideas, but the actual nitty-gritty words and sentences we use. Well, today we're going to dive into some amazing new technology and, believe it or not, the specific grammar that lets us even imagine a future filled with things like AI, chatbots, and facial recognition.
But hang on. Before we get into all of that, if you enjoy this kind of deep dive, please do take just a second to subscribe to the channel. And while you're at it, hit that notification bell, give this a like, and maybe drop a comment. It really helps us out a ton. Okay, thank you.
All right, let's get into it. First things first, let's set the stage. We are constantly hearing these wild predictions about how technology is going to flip our world upside down, right? Sometimes it sounds like something straight out of a movie. So, what are the experts actually saying? Let's take a look at some really fascinating and maybe even a little bit startling ideas about what's just over the horizon.
Okay, let this one sink in for a minute. This isn't just a prediction about AI giving customer service agents a helping hand. No. This is talking about a complete and total replacement of humans in an entire industry. That is a massive claim. It immediately gets you thinking, doesn't it? What will that world actually look like? And what will it feel like to interact with? The scale of that change is just, wow.
So, where do these big ideas come from? Well, they're pulled from this dialogue right here, a really interesting chat between a host and a tech reporter. And trust me, they're not just talking about chatbots. They also get into breakthroughs in advanced facial recognition and even technology that could help blind people see using their phones. It's this glimpse into a future that feels, both incredibly exciting and just a little bit uncertain.
And this is where it gets even crazier. This really is the next step in this whole evolution. It's one thing to have a chatbot answer a simple question, but this conversation paints a picture of a future where computer-generated speech is so sophisticated, so natural, that it's literally indistinguishable from a real person. You wouldn't know. Just think about the implications of that for a second.
Okay, so if we're going to talk about all these mind-bending advancements, we all need to be on the same page. We need a shared vocabulary. And this isn't just, tech jargon for engineers. These are the words that let all of us understand and discuss the technology that's shaping our tomorrow. So let's look at some of the key terms that make these conversations possible.
This table from our source material does a great job of laying out the core concepts. You can see how it's broken down. We've got general terms like artificial intelligence, that's the big picture idea, and working prototype, that's the first step to making it real. Then it gets more specific, right? We have audio terms like voice recognition and visual ones like facial recognition. These are the individual building blocks, the tools that engineers are putting together to create that future we were just talking about.
So, we've got the concepts, we've got the vocabulary, but how do we talk about when all this stuff is going to happen? See, talking about the future requires real precision. You can't just say something will happen. To be clear, you need to explain when and how. And this, my friends, is where grammar becomes this incredibly powerful tool. It's the difference between a vague, fuzzy dream and a concrete, solid projection.
In this slide, this gets us right to the heart of the matter. Our source provides this fantastic little grammar box that zooms in on two super specific grammatical tools, the future perfect tense and the future continuous tense. Getting a handle on these is the absolute key to describing future events with the kind of accuracy that separates a wild guess from a serious forecast.
So, let's put these two tenses head to head and really break them down. They might sound a little similar, but they describe the future in totally different ways. One is all about completion, an action that's finished. The other is all about continuation, an action that's ongoing. It's like the difference between seeing the future as a destination you've arrived at versus a journey you're in the middle of. Let's see how they work. First up, we have the future perfect. The formula is pretty simple. Will plus have plus the past participle of a verb, like replaced. And its whole job, its entire purpose, is to talk about something that will be completely finished, totally done, before a specific point in the future. Think of it like setting a deadline in the future for something that is already completed by that time.
And boom, here it is, back to our first example from that dialogue. Look at the structure here. The deadline is crystal clear. By the end of the next decade, the tense "will have replaced" tells us that the act of replacing humans isn't going to happen then. It will already be a done deal by the time we reach that future date. It presents this massive change as a finished fact of the future.
Now, let's look at its partner, the future continuous. The formula here is will plus be plus a verb with an ing ending, like having. This tense completely shifts the focus. It's not about a finished action at all. It's about something that will be happening, something that will be ongoing and in progress at a particular moment in the future. It's less about results and more about describing the vibe, the atmosphere of the future.
So let's look at our second example again. You see the difference, right? We'll be having conversations doesn't describe one single finished event. It describes a continuous normal state of being. The idea is that at some point in the future, the process of talking with computers will just be a regular, ongoing part of life. The focus is on the action as it's happening, not on it being over and done with.
So, here it is, the whole thing in a nutshell. This is the crucial takeaway. On one side, future perfect. Its focus is on a completed action, and its time frame is before a future point. It gives you a sense of finality. On the other side, future continuous. Its focus is on an action in progress, happening at a specific future point. It gives you a sense of a living, breathing, happening world. Two different tenses, two completely different ways of looking at what's coming next.
Okay, now that we've got the language sorted out, let's bring it back to the technology itself. Because, look, understanding how to talk about these innovations is one thing, but understanding their real-world impact, well, that's a whole other story. And that impact isn't always so clear-cut. This is where the conversation gets really interesting and really complicated.
Remember those facial recognition glasses we mentioned earlier? The source dialog gives us some pretty specific details. These aren't just some cool new gadget. They're a seriously powerful tool directly linked to police databases, designed to identify specific people in a public crowd. So it's really no surprise that the host in that conversation admitted that this technology made them feel nervous.
And this really leads us to the final and maybe most important question of all. A technology like this could potentially stop crimes before they happen, sure, but at what cost? What does it mean for our privacy? This is where we move beyond grammar and into the world of ethics, because the language we use to describe the future isn't just about predicting what will have happened. It's about deciding what kind of world we'll be living in.
Thanks for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe, turn on the notification bell, like, and leave a comment to support the channel.